11 and a half years ago, I wrote a song called We Desire. And if I've ever come to your church or to your event to lead worship, I'm almost positive we sang that song at least once, because I sing it everywhere I go. And I'm not here to promote my song or anything like that. That's not the point of this video here. In fact, I kind of feel kind of silly. It's embarrassing almost to admit that it took 11 and a half years or so for me to finally understand what I'm singing in that song, what that song means. Because it wasn't until this past year that God got a hold of me and opened my eyes and opened my heart to what it means to be found in Christ and what that requires of us as Christians. And there's a line in the song that says, "May I be found in you." And the you, of course, is Jesus Christ. And ultimately, what God revealed to me is that if we are found in Christ, there can be no justification for the sin in our lives. And the reason there can be no justification is because we do not allow ourselves that option to justify the sin in our lives. There can be no more excuses. And if you're watching this going, well, duh, didn't you always know that? Well, yeah, but there's so many times that we justify sin in our lives without even realizing we're justifying sin in our lives. Let me ask you this. Have you ever said or thought something along these lines? And I'm going to use the word blank here, because my blank very well may be different than your blank. Okay? Just go with me here. Have you ever said something like this? I haven't done blank in however many days, weeks, or months. So it won't hurt if I do blank right now. Or it's not a big deal if I do blank just this once. And your blank could be something you struggle with. It could be an addiction. It could be a sin that you struggle with. Just because we're Christians does not at all mean that we don't struggle. We don't have issues in our lives that we have to work out of our lives. And sometimes we justify them and convince ourselves that it's okay to do stuff just this once and that be okay. Or when have you ever said this? And I've said this one too, and I hate it. And I've heard people say it, and I've said it, and it drives me nuts. But have you ever said, it's okay, it's not a big deal, I'm on vacation? Yeah. Well, what do we expect God to say to that? It's not a big deal, God, I'm on vacation. Oh, well, why didn't you say so? I'll leave you alone until you're, back home or whatever. And you may say, well, that sounds kind of petty. You're being kind of petty, or, you're nitpicking here. And we may act like it's just not a big deal, but the reality is it's a huge deal. Because when we begin to justify the sin in our lives and when we begin to make excuses and are okay with it, then we can't say that we're found in Christ. There's also times that we turn to other things or other people to meet needs that Jesus Christ is supposed to meet for us. For example, you may turn to your blank when you're stressed or when you need some comfort, when you've had a rough day. You may turn to your blank. And if your blank is how you handle your stress or your comfort, if your blank is where how you deal with the rough circumstances of life, then whatever your blank is has now become an idol, because it has taken the place of Jesus Christ in your life. Galatians 5:24 says, those who belong to Christ have crucified their flesh and all its passions and desires. And look, I'm not saying that Christians aren't going to struggle. Any Christian that says they don't struggle with sin in their lives is lying. And if I said that just because I'm a Christian, that doesn't mean that means that I don't struggle or I don't have issues in my life that I need to let God work out of my life, then I'm bold-faced lying to you. And I am saying, though, that we must be willing to do whatever it is we have to do to crucify our flesh and the passions and desires. And if we are not willing to do that, and yet we say we are found in Christ, we are living a lie. It is my prayer, both for all of you and for myself, that God would give us the discipline and the desire to do whatever it is that we have to do to crucify our flesh, to get rid of the blanks in our lives, so that He can be our one desire above all else, so that we can truly say that we are found in Him. Thanks for watching.
We desire you. We desire you. We desire